I love a good adventure story. In fact, I'll confess to owning and occasionally watching nearly all of the Indiana Jones movies. But when I get the chance to read about the real-life exploits of a hero of the faith, well, that's even better. William Christie was one of the early Alliance missionaries. As a 19-year-old Scottish immigrant to America with a trade as a bricklayer, he volunteered and after a year's training at the Missionary Training Institute, was sent in 1892 to the western part of China. Very quickly, he found a way to take the good news of Jesus into the forbidden kingdom of Tibet. His biography, which sadly is now out of print, reads like an Indiana Jones script, full of adventures with robbers and bandits, kidnappings, wars, rebellions, and natural disasters, and exploits in places that were, well, let's just say, exotic. He was an amazing linguist and a first-rate scholar, earning the admiring respect of the Buddhist monks whose culture and philosophy he understood like no Westerner before him ever had. Maybe it's enough just to know that his nickname was the Livingston of Tibet. His ministry lasted for 58 years. Over 40 of those in Tibet and China's Wild West. And without question, his story is one of the most remarkable that I've ever read. What was the secret of his effectiveness and of his staying power? What made this man so special? Once, Dr. Paul Rader, who was then the president of the Christian and Missionary Alliance, listened as this incredible man delivered a very brief and very simple devotional to a group of missionaries in the Chinese port city of Shanghai. Christy had read the passage in John 10 concerning Jesus, the Good Shepherd. And every time the Lord referred to himself, Christy emphasized the pronoun. I am the door. I am the Good Shepherd. I lay down my life for the sheep. When Christy came to verse 16, he read, Other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, and he laid the Bible aside. He looked around at the group and repeated with great feeling, Them also I must bring. He paused, then made a comment that burned into Rader's soul. Brethren, no man can be a missionary. Jesus is the only missionary. He can bring them. He says he must bring them. If he is abiding in his fullness in me, then I am carrying about China the great, the only missionary. Only as I carry him in his fullness is my life a missionary life. Deeply moved, Rader left the group. I slipped quietly from the room, he wrote, to the closet of prayer. I wanted him so much. The only missionary to live in me. I must have it so, for no man can be a missionary. This and only this is the answer to the question, what is our power? William Christie's secret was the fullness of the Holy Spirit. I want that kind of life. Not the adventures of wars and exotic places, but the reality of Christ living out his life in me